Hi everyone, and welcome to Gwyn Collects. Hello everybody, Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. I think this video is going to go up on Christmas Eve or on the 23rd, depending, probably Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas if you celebrate, Happy Holidays if you don't. I hope you are all having a very enjoyable end to your year. We're almost in the new year, it's almost 2023. I hope you all had a very, very enjoyable 2022, and if not, it's okay. 2023 can be a fresh start. We can enjoy next year. I hope everyone has a great 2023. And yeah, thanks again for supporting Gwyn Collects this whole year. My channel has continued to grow, so thank you so much to everyone that has been here supporting my channel this year. It means so much to me, and I'm so glad we've built this community together. So for today's video, I'm doing what I did last year. Although last year I posted this on New Year's Eve, I'm posting it a little bit earlier this year. I'm doing my top 5 figures of 2022. I had so much fun making this video last year, so I'm so excited to be bringing the video back for 2022. I'll link the 2021 version of this video I did above. But yeah, I'm super excited to be back with my top 5 figures of 2022. So the rules for this year are the same as the rules for last year, although I do have a couple bonus categories thrown in at the end of this video that don't quite follow the same rules as last year. But basically how I do my top 5 figures is, these are the top 5 figures that I bought and were released for the very first time in 2022. So no re-releases can be on this list, and no figures that I didn't buy. So they have to be ones that I physically purchased and have reviewed myself here on the channel. So those are my 2 criteria. I do have a bonus category at the end for top re-release of this year, so if you guys are interested in my favorite re-release of this year, I will be talking about that as well. So before we get into my top 5, I'd just like to give a quick word from our sponsor, Buy. So I think at this point you guys know the drill. Buy is an online proxy service that allows you to buy items from various Japanese stores such as Yahoo Japan Auction, Mercari, Amazon Japan, Rakuten, tons of different stores. They will buy those items on your behalf and then ship them to their warehouse and then ship them out to you wherever you live in the world. I use Buy a ton. I actually used Buy to pick up the necklace I'm wearing because it came with the cool limited edition version of Kenshi Yonezu's Kickback. I don't know if you guys are watching Chainsaw Man, but I have. So I did pick up this super sick limited CD set with the chainsaw necklace. But yeah, I love using Buy. I've been using them for years, and they've been a longtime sponsor of Gwyn Collects. I highly recommend using them as a proxy, and they just recently actually revised their proxy fees. I'll put their new proxy fees on the screen here. So it's awesome when proxies kind of rethink their pricing scheme, because they all are kind of different and they have pros and cons. But I really love Buy. I've had great experiences with them so far. I've gotten like everybody using them. Like my brother uses them to buy like Japanese denim. My boyfriend's even used them before. So highly recommend using Buy to get all of your figures, merch, clothes, whatever you'd like from Japan. I buy CDs, as you can see. So thanks again to Buy for sponsoring this video. If you are interested in using Buy, you can sign up at the link in the description below, and you will get a 2,000 yen coupon off your very first order. So thanks again to Buy for sponsoring this video and for sponsoring many of my videos. And let's get into this top 5 figures. I still don't know if I'm completely satisfied with my list, but it was really hard to choose my favorite figures this year. They were just all so good. But I think I've whittled it down. I might regret this. I was watching my last year's video just to make sure I was doing this one in a similar format, and I honestly kind of disagree with some of my choices from last year, like now that the figures have grown on me. Like I picked Chio over Miss Orangette as my like number 2 figure, but I like Miss Orangette so much more than Chio now. So I don't know, it's funny how like our opinions change, but this list is, I think I like it. Ugh. Alright, so our number 5 figure is the Revolve Asuka figure. This is the last mission version. I think this figure, it's a 1/7 scale, I believe. Maybe 1/8. I think it's 1/7. But this figure is absolutely stunning. Just the sculpt of it is so gorgeous. The paint job is flawless. I love the base, I love the pose, I love Asuka's face, her hair. The white plug suit just looks so good. I'm just so in love with this figure. Every time I see it on my shelf, it just makes me happy. I think she's just so breathtakingly gorgeous and just one of those like really cleanly executed figures. I know I talked about this in my video last year when Radio Ava Ray was my number one. I love just a cleanly executed figure. Like, figures with tons of effects are really cool and all, but I really have a soft spot for figures where they just like nail it. Like, it's not elaborate, it's not crazy, they just pump out a 16,000 yen scale and it's flawless. It's beautiful, the paint job is clean, the pose and the sculpt are beautiful, there's no seam lines. I don't know, there's something about figures like that I just love so much. But yeah, this Asuka just ticks all the boxes for me. First, it's Asuka. Second, it's made by Revolve, who I absolutely love. Third, it's sculpted by Nobuta, who sculpted the Alter Asuka with the hat. It's just perfection. It's just a perfect figure. She's just so stunning. Like, I'm shocked that she's number 5 on this list because she is such a good figure. Like, that's how good the figures on this list are. And she could honestly be bumped higher up. But, she's so stunning. Probably my favorite Asuka figure that's ever been made. I think she's so gorgeous. I do wish she was in her red plug suit because red plug suit Asuka is my favorite, but just a stunning figure. I can't wait to get Mari when she comes out. Alright guys, number 4 is such a sleeper. Like, everybody slept on this figure except a few people. And I know all of you people that also bought this figure. A, you have amazing taste, and B, I bet you love this figure as well. It is the 1/7 scale Katarina Kleiss by FNex, or Furyu. I love My Next Life as a Villainess. I thought it was just such a fantastic, funny, cute anime. So when Furyu announced this figure, I was like, amazing, definitely gonna pick it up. Her face looked a little bit weird in prototype photos. I find Furyu has the worst prototype photos for their FNex line. Like, I just don't love how they do their prototype photos, but whatever. I pre-ordered it, she came in the mail, and she is such a gorgeous figure. I thought about putting her higher up on this list because honestly, she is up there probably with my number 1 spot, but I just feel like I had better ones this year, but she's so close. Like, these are so close. Like, honestly, this top 5 could be in any order. But this Katarina figure is just so gorgeous. I love her so much. She's huge, first of all, like a giant figure. For 1/7 scale, she's humongous. And just like the way she looks and the paint job on her and her sculpt, and I feel like it's just so true to her character. It's just such a fun figure. She was a pretty reasonable price as well. I mean, FNex is overpriced and they've become incredibly overpriced. I think I paid about 19,000 yen for her, ish, which I think is a pretty fair price for this figure. I think it's gorgeous. Yeah, they really slayed. She just looks incredible. And like I was saying before, I think it's just so true to her character that I just love it. Like, I love her character so much in the anime. So when they made this scale of her, I just think they nailed her so well. They nailed her so well and just executed it beautifully. I'm so happy with this figure. She was actually like the first figure when I thought I was going to do this top 5. She was one I was like, she needs to be on my list. I love her so much. She has to be on here. So yeah, so in love with her. I think she's just a breathtaking figure. I think you should all pick her up if you liked My Next Life as a Villainess, because this figure, mwah, beautiful. Okay, we're down to the top 3, you guys. The top 3 figures. This was so hard. This was so hard. Well, my 3rd place figure is the Rengoku, I think it's a 1/8 scale Rengoku figure by Aniplex and Emon Toys, I believe. I think this figure is gorgeous. This figure is so nice. I wanted to have a male figure in here somewhere. I was debating between Rengoku and Gojo, but Rengoku wins out. Just everything about this figure, he's right here. So I can look at him while I talk about him. But Rengoku just looks so good. His base is so freaking cool. And just his pose is iconic. This is the iconic Rengoku pose. I knew this was the Rengoku figure for me. Rengoku is just such an amazing figure. I think he looks so good. I really think they nailed his look. I don't know, like, it's perfect. It's such an iconic pose. It's such a good sculpt, such a good paint job. Oh my god, I just love him. His face is perfect. His sword looks amazing. He has so much like presence on the shelf. Like, this pose is just such a commanding pose, and they just nailed it. The other thing I love about this figure is he tanked on the aftermarket. I don't know why this figure tanked, but it tanked. I paid 12,000 yen for him, or 10,000 yen I think, and I thought I was getting a huge bargain. I have seen him since for like 8,000 yen. I can't, literally the best bargain on earth. He is such an amazing figure. I would definitely recommend, if you were thinking about picking him up, pick him up. If you can find him for a good price, he is beyond worth it. He was worth the $200 that he retailed for. So if you can get him for $80, are you joking? Are you kidding me right now? You have to pick him up. What an incredible figure. I can't say enough good things about this figure. Emon Toys has super impressed me with this. And I know Aniplex can be kind of hit or miss, but he is a hit. Absolutely incredible figure. I'm really excited for their Tengen figure coming out next year. I mistakenly pre-ordered that figure because I bet he'll tank in the aftermarket too. But it's fine because I love Tengen. And it's gonna look very nice on the shelf with my Rengoku and my Shinobu. So anyway, absolutely obsessed with this Rengoku figure. Definitely recommend you pick him up. He is well deserving of that number 3 spot on this list. Okay guys, we're getting down to the bottom. And I know a lot of you are probably, I wanna hear, guess in the comments below before you see who my actual top 2 are. Guess who my top 2 figures are gonna be, my top 1 figure. I'd love to know what you guys think my favorite one was, because I was this close. Like up until today when I decided to like actually film this, I had a different figure as my number 1. So I did switch it last minute. But my number 2 figure is the Ringo Misono Binding Bunny, the quarter scale. I just recently opened her up on this channel. Go watch that video if you are interested to see the unboxing. She was my number 1. I was like, she's gonna be my number 1. She is an absolutely gorgeous figure. I'm so obsessed with her. Like, she will be my number 1 of this year. But something in my heart, I don't know, just told me that she wasn't my favorite figure from this year. I like kept saying like, yeah, she's my number 1, she's my number 1. But I felt like I was telling myself that and I didn't actually feel that. I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, today I decided to change it. My number 2 figure and my number 1 figure switched. So Ringo is my number 2 figure of this year. I think she's definitely my favorite bunny that I got this year. I think she's super stunning. I love her so much. I had pretty mixed reviews on my video though, that I put up a couple days ago. Some people really don't like her. A lot of people have an issue with the leg, which I totally get. I don't know if I even talked much about the leg in the video. I know people have issues with the kind of bow leg, but I think it's cool. I don't know, like I'm a huge Raita fan, and Raita dresses girls very exaggerated with kind of the bow legs anyway. I just feel like it's an artistic choice. Like people are talking about like anatomy and stuff, like these are anime girls. Like these are artistic choices. Like you think my anime girls with boobs this big and a waist this big are really anatomically correct either? Like let's be real. Let's be real here. So anyway, yeah, I don't really care about the leg. I think it fits with like the art style of the figure and it doesn't bother me at all. If anything, I like it more because it kind of adds interest and adds shape to the figure. I don't know, I really love her. I think she's just a perfect figure. Binding popped off, she is just flawless. Her pose I feel like is so unique, her outfit is so unique. I love her little tongue sticking out, like they nailed her face. I love how they painted her. Her suit is like navy blue with the gold sparkle. Just so good. They just made so many good choices when they were making this figure. I love her so much. She's absolutely stunning. They nailed her. Now I kind of wish I did put her at number 1, now that I'm talking about her. But no, my true number 1 is really my number 1 of this year. But yeah, Ringo is an incredibly close second. I'm so in love with her. Oh, she's just so beautiful. She's just so gorgeous. And that quarter scale is hard to beat. It's so hard to beat, you know? My number 1 figure of 2022 actually released in January of 2022, and it is the Bilibili New Year's 3-3 figure by My Ethos. It's a 1/7 scale, I believe. It was a China exclusive figure, so I had to buy it from Sugo Toys. And not a lot of people have this figure. She was a very like niche figure. I think that's also part of why I love her. I feel like she's a very unique figure to have in my collection. But I'm so so in love with this figure. I think she is breathtakingly gorgeous. Her entire setup around her is just so well done. My ethos just did an absolutely incredible job on this girl. Everything from the way her dress is a pearlescent red paint, to her face, to her hair, to her pose, to the mirror so that you can kind of see the back of her hood and stuff. Just the entire composition of this figure is so breathtakingly gorgeous. I do kind of regret not picking up the 2-2 to go with her, but I just didn't have space for them both, and they were expensive. So I ended up just getting 3-3, and I am so happy that I bought her in the end. She is just absolutely gorgeous. That's all I can say in this video. I'm sorry guys, this video is just me saying gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, stunning, stunning, amazing. Take a shot every time I use a descriptor like stunning or gorgeous. You will die, don't do this. Maybe it's a New Year's drinking game. But yeah, she's so beautiful. I'm gonna put B-roll obviously of all these figures as I talk about them, but 3-3 is just so stunning. I love her. So yeah, she's well deserving of first place. She was my second place figure, but then when I sat down to film this, I was like, no, you know what? She is the best figure that I got this year. Yeah, just such a stunning figure. Everything about her, every detail about her is just flawless. So I am so happy that I picked her up this year. She is well deserving of that #1 spot. So what do you guys think of my top 5? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. And please tell me your top 5 figures of this year. You can follow my rules where they have to have released this year, or you can just put the top 5 figures you got, or the top 10 figures you got, the top 1 figure you got. I'd love to know in the comments down below. And if you noticed that I didn't have any super lewd figures in this list, because I did pick up a lot of lewd figures this year, my patrons over on Patreon, you'll be getting a video that will probably go up the same day as this one. I'll probably look the same in that video because I'm going to film it next, where I go through my top 5 not safe for work figures of 2022. And that list was easy to make because I got some bangers this year. Oh, I almost put my top lewd figure of this year as my top figure of this year, but I decided, no, I gotta hold back. And I'll put it on my top lewd figures of the year video. So yeah, you can sign up for my Patreon down in the description below if you'd like to see that video. Okay, now for the bonus categories that I have. So I have a couple bonus categories, and then I'll give my honorable mentions of this year. So the first bonus category is my favorite re-release of 2022, and that was an easy choice. My favorite re-release of 2022 is the Tricker Miku figure. I know so many people, this was like a holy grail figure. Her aftermarket was absurd, and Union Creative was like, you know what guys, let's re-release her. And let's re-release her on time on Halloween. Just such a slay from Union Creative. I love her. I got her. I got the re-release as well, and I think it's just such a great figure. So happy Union Creative decided to re-release it. Just thank you so much, Union Creative. I know a lot of us love her so much. So yeah, that's definitely my #1 re-release of this year. So happy they re-released her. Next up, we have a new category this year, and that is my #1 Nendoroid of the year. So I didn't have any Nendoroids in my list this year or last year because I don't think it's a big secret that I'm not a huge Nendoroid fan. Like, I'll pick them up every so often, but I'm not a massive fan of them. But I thought it'd be fun to do my top Nendoroid of the year because there were a lot of Nendoroids this year that I really loved. My true #1 Nendoroid of this year is the Maneki Miku Nendoroid. I loved this design and I felt like it translated so well to Nendoroid form. So I'm just so in love with this one. I think she's so cute. She was a pretty pricey Nendoroid. I think she was like one of the most expensive ones ever made at about 8,000 yen. But so cute. I love her. I love her little pose. I love her winking face. I love everything about her. She is so cute. I actually have her on the shelf with Billy 3-3, and they just look so cute together. So yeah, love the Maneki Miku Nendoroid. She is definitely my #1 Nendoroid of 2022. My next category is the #1 figure of the year. So last year I mentioned that I thought the Mythos Miku was the #1 figure of 2021, and I have another Mythos figure as the #1 figure of 2022. Can you all guess what it is? It is the Mythos Mary. So while she's not in my top 5 because it was so hard to choose, she's definitely an honorable mention in my top 5. I think the #1 figure in terms of like all the people that bought it and how much everyone loves it and just price and everything, I think the best figure just subjectively this year is the Mary Saotome figure by Mythos, where she's laying on the table. Just price-wise, you can't beat the 12,000 yen that she cost for the amount of detail and impact that this figure has. Like, you can't beat it. She is an absolutely incredibly gorgeous figure. She was delayed a few times, but worth it. What a stunning figure. I think a lot of you will agree that she is the best figure that released this year. I think she had like 1,400 people ordered her on my figure collection. Like, an absurd amount of people bought this figure. And I think every single one of us was just thrilled with how she turned out. So I'm super, super happy with her. I think she's so gorgeous. And I think most of you guys will agree. Another really, really great figure that a lot of people bought this year is the Genshin Impact Mona figure by Wonderful Works. That is a close second, I think, for #1 figure of this year. But I don't think anything can beat my Ethos Mary as just like the objective best. Did I say objective or subjective before? I meant the objective best figure. Like, I don't think you can argue. You guys try to argue in the comments. Tell me what you think the objective best figure of this year is for quality, price, amount of people that bought it. I don't think you can beat my Ethos Mary. And my last category before I get into the honorable mentions of this year is a new one as well for this year, and it is, I had to put this in so that I could talk about this figure. It is my #1 pre-owned figure that I picked up this year. So this is kind of a cheat category because this figure did not release in 2022. It released in 2017. But my #1 pre-owned pickup of this year is obviously the quarter scale Mugen from First 4 Figures. I know it feels like a million years ago that I picked this one up. I'll link the video where I unbox him above. But this figure has forever been my #1 holy grail figure. I never thought I would own him. And I managed to get one in February of this year, and I have absolutely no regrets. He is my favorite figure, and nothing will ever even come close to him. Like, nothing will ever beat him as my favorite figure in my collection. It's impossible. Samurai Champloo is my favorite anime, and I just love Mugen so much. I think the only thing that could ever beat him is if First 4 Figures picks up the line once again and makes the quarter scale Fu that they had announced. She could probably beat him for my #1 figure because Fu is my favorite character from Samurai Champloo. But I don't think anything will ever beat Mugen as my favorite figure. He is the best figure in my collection. Like, there's no competition. He's my favorite figure, and he forever will be. So yeah, I'm so in love with him. Oh, I can't believe I got him. Like, I still look at him and I'm like, how did I actually find you? How? So yeah, anyway, he's definitely my #1 figure that I picked up this year and of all time. Alright, to finish off this video, I have 4 honorable mentions of figures that were so close to making that top 5, but they just didn't quite make the cut for 2022. The first one is the Eastream Gojo figure. I think Eastream killed it on this figure. I think he's so cool. He looks amazing. His sculpt is amazing. His base is amazing. His paint job's amazing. They popped off. He looks fantastic. I think he came out in like January too. January was a heavy month for me with just good releases, and then February I got Mugen. I spent a lot of money at the beginning of this year, and I bought a new camera. It was an expensive 2 months of my life, but but yeah, he just looks amazing. He was really, really close to being on my list, but I ended up replacing him with Rengoku because I just like the Rengoku figure a little bit more. But yeah, Eastream Gojo looks amazing. I love him so much, and I don't think his aftermarket has really gone up much, so yeah, really, really love him as a figure. I think he's just super sick. My next honorable mention, or mentions, because it's technically 2 figures, but they came as a set. It is the Flare Nekopara set with Chocolat and Vanilla. They're just such gorgeous figures. Flare really killed it with them. They were kind of an impulse purchase for me, and I do not regret it at all. They are some of my favorite figures I got this year, and I just love how they add variation to my lingerie shelf. They just look really, really nice on there, and I love how they kind of go together. I just feel like they're very unique, and there's not a lot of figures like them, so they're a definite honorable mention from me. My second last honorable mention this year is the Wave, Dream Tech Swan Ballet Girl. She's a 1/6 scale figure and was literally basically on my top 5 list. I took her off right before the video started and replaced her with the Revolve Asuka, but she is just such a stunning figure. She could have easily been in the top 5. You could switch her out with Asuka and she would be in the top 5. Just such a gorgeous figure. I love her so much. She's just perfect. Like, I can't get over how much I love her. So yeah, Swan Ballet Girl was so close to being in the top 5, so close, but I had to choose. And finally, my last honorable mention that came out this year is a recent release, and it is the Hatsuaki figure by Wings Inc. I know a lot of you guys loved her on my haul video last month, and I completely understand why. I loved her so much too. I love her so much too. I'm so glad that she turned out because her design is just kick-ass, and Wings Inc. delivered. I know Wings Inc. can be iffy, but they really delivered on her. I think she turned out just so gorgeous. Oh, I love her. I'm just looking down at her right now. So yeah. Anyway, she is my last honorable mention for this year. We made it, you guys, we did it. I hope you all enjoyed hearing my top 5 figures of this year. Please let me know what your guys' favorite figures of 2022 are in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see my top 5 loot figures of this year, please consider subscribing to my Patreon, which is linked down in the description below. And speaking of Patreon, thank you so much to all of my patrons over there. You guys really helped to support my channel, and I can't thank you enough for that. And an even bigger thanks to my Chica tier patrons over on Patreon: Melinda, Retro Richie, Styrak, Leon Blade, Ari, JP, CJ, Luca, and Gregory. All of your support just means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for being my Chica tier patrons this year. And as always, thanks again to Bai for sponsoring this video. As always, I hope you all have a very wonderful day, a very Merry Christmas, a very happy holidays, and a Happy New Year. I think I'll have one more video out before the new year this year, so I'll probably say Happy New Year again on there. But if you do not watch that one, Happy New Year. I hope you all have a wonderful and prosperous 2023, and let's hope there are many more great figure releases. So yeah, I will see you all next time. Bye!